Hello, I'm Charlene White. The Prime Minister says he wants investigations to get the full truth out about horrific allegations that police tried to smear the family of Stephen Lawrence. An undercover police officer claims he was ordered to find information to discredit the Lawrence family, Dwayne Brooks and campaigners. He said it happened in 1993, just months after Stephen was murdered at a bus stop in Eltham in an unprovoked racist attack. Both the Home Secretary Theresa May and Mayor Boris Johnson spoke about possible criminal prosecutions of Met officers if the claims prove to be true. We have this report from our senior correspondent, Ronke Phillips.
If it had been a white boy, they would have surrounded the black community. They would have arrested as many black boys as they could, and they would not stop until they get the killer.
Doreen Lawrence venting her frustration at the slow progress of the police inquiry soon after her son was murdered. Time and time again, the family complained they were being treated like suspects. Now this man, former Met officer Peter Francis, says he worked undercover to smear the Lawrences and their supporters.
They wanted any intelligence that could have smeared the campaign. Yes, there is this general remit. So had I, through my circles, come up with something along the lines of the family were political activists, somebody in the family was involved in demonstrations, drug dealers, anything. What they would have done with intelligence, I can't call it.
Doreen Lawrence had to wait 18 years before her son's killers were jailed. And yet she says this latest claim hurts more than all the evidence of injustice and incompetence she's fought to expose.
Quite shocked that, back in that time, during our time of grieving for our son, that there was somebody sitting somewhere calculating, infiltrating into our family. Out of all the things I've found out over the years, this certainly has topped it.
At the family's side then and now, their solicitor Imran Khan.
And in a sense what you have is injustice upon injustice upon injustice, because not only had the family lost Stephen Lawrence, but the police weren't investigating properly, and now we know, some 20 years later, they were in fact spying on them.
The mayor, who was today hosting a flag-raising ceremony for service personnel, warned that if evidence of criminal behaviour is uncovered, it could lead to prosecutions.
For my money, you cannot exclude the possibility of criminal proceedings if indeed there was actions, or if indeed there was a campaign quite as despicable and wrong as the one that's been indicated by the witness that we've so far heard.
Thank you, Mr.
MPs were told that today's revelations will now be investigated by two ongoing inquiries into claims of police wrongdoing.
I can confirm that where the Creedon investigation finds evidence of criminal behaviour or misconduct by police officers, the IPCC will investigate and the officers will be brought to justice.
Peter Francis, who says he was a member of an undercover unit known as the Special Demonstration Squad, says his superiors also deliberately chose to withhold his spying role from Sir William Macpherson, who headed the public inquiry, which had been ordered by the then Home Secretary.
I'm appalled. They're utterly terrible allegations, and I fear that they are true, that elements in the Metropolitan Police decided to target the innocent family of the innocent victim, who was Stephen Lawrence, murdered in a brutal racist killing.
The undercover officer claims he also infiltrated anti-racist demonstrations. At the time, the Metropolitan Police was headed by Sir Paul Condon. He denies knowing anything about the smear campaign or the unit.
I have no knowledge in my 7 years of Commissioner of a smear campaign of the nature that's been described in The Guardian.
Scotland Yard has said it's not prepared to confirm or deny the truth of Mr Francis's claims. Once again, the Metropolitan Police finds itself in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. These events may not have happened on the current Commissioner's watch, but it will fall to Bernard Hogan-Howe to answer several questions. Who ordered the smear campaign? Who applied the pressure, and how far up the food chain did it go? Some of the answers may come on Thursday when he appears before the London Assembly Police and Crime Committee. Ronke Phillips, ITV News, New Scotland Yard.
And Met Commissioner Sir Bernard Hogan-Howe has just given his reactions to those allegations, saying that he was personally shocked by them.
I was shocked that if these allegations proved to be true, that the Metropolitan Police had targeted a grieving family, the Lawrence family, and also Dwayne Brooks. So that is a shock of itself. These are serious allegations, which is why we've now asked an independent Chief Constable back in February to look into these allegations to find out if they are true or not. It's essential we get to the bottom of them for the reputation of the Metropolitan Police, and obviously for the reassurance of the family and obviously of Dwayne Brooks.
And within the past hour, Stephen's father, Neville Lawrence, has issued a statement calling for a judge-led inquiry into the latest allegations. He said, "I feel betrayed by this latest news and it has taken away the faith I had started to build in the police. I understand that the Home Secretary has announced that she will extend the inquiries of Mark Ellison QC and Operation Hearn. I would like to make it clear that I find this completely unsatisfactory. I'm convinced that nothing short of a judge-led public inquiry will suffice, and I have no confidence that the measures announced today will get to the bottom of this matter." Well, Lee Jasper joins us in the studio now. He was part of the Stephen Lawrence campaign and also the National Black Caucus, one of the groups that's thought to have been infiltrated by undercover police officers in the 90s. Thanks very much for joining us. What's your reaction to the statement there from Neville Lawrence?
I think I'd agree with him wholeheartedly. My position is that the Operation Hearn and the Mark Ellison QC inquiry are not sufficient, wholly inadequate response to what it seems to be, if the allegations are proven true, a determined campaign, not just to smear the Lawrence family, but actually to put somebody like Dwayne Brooks in prison. I mean, we need to be absolutely clear about this. Very serious allegations. And I think a judge-led inquiry is absolutely the right approach.
Now, you've been talking about this today, especially in your blog, and you said that you're not surprised by these revelations. Why is that?
Well, I think that because for years we had a very strong suspicion that anybody who is criticising the Metropolitan Police Service, whether you're a victim or a suspect, has been subjected to all sorts of erroneous comments appearing in press and in commentary, and the only people who can find out those sorts of level of granular details are the police. And so it was part of a submission that we put to Levinson for him to have a look at it. He ignored it. But I think this has given real strong evidence now to suggest that there was a force within the Metropolitan Police Service.
Yeah, and of course, as you said, these are allegations at the moment. Nothing has yet been proven to be true. But as I mentioned earlier, you were a part of the Stephen Lawrence campaign, so you were in and out of the Lawrence's house. Was there anything that you spotted that could have potentially been untoward from the police?
Yeah, officers following us around asking us for our date of births, name and car registration numbers. I mean, it was literally, they wanted to know the name and detail of everybody coming in and out of that house. And subsequent to that, a lot of the key campaigners then began to find that they were being given additional attention when they're driving their cars, they were getting subject to more stop and searches, and a whole host of other evidence that seemed to suggest to us at the time we're being targeted.
Do you think this completely underwrites or makes less what came out of the Macpherson inquiry? Because obviously the allegations today are that these particular incidents were kept away from the Macpherson inquiry. Do you think that we should be seeing it done all over again?
I certainly think that this would have had a material difference on the Lawrence inquiry, Macpherson inquiry recommendations. And I do think it is a absolutely very, very serious breach of criminal law and probably some other disciplinary requirements for police officers to withhold information in this way. So I think it would have made a difference, and I think that's precisely why Neville Lawrence is right in calling for almost a reconvening as a one-off of the Macpherson inquiry to look again at the specific allegations.
But the Home Secretary Theresa May did say that if anything had been found untoward, then there will be a criminal proceeding. So are you happy with that at least?
Not really. I'm not sure the Home Secretary would recognise anything untoward in the police if it was presented to with compelling evidence. My view is that you need to restore public confidence in the Metropolitan Police Service, and you won't do that by Operation Hearn or Mark Ellison QC. You'll do that by having a full, transparent and public inquiry that can demand that evidence from the police services and everyone else.
OK, well, Lee Jasper, thanks very much for joining us this evening. Well, that Dispatches programme with the full investigation into the activities of undercover police officers will be shown tonight. It's called The Police's Dirty Little Secret and it's on Channel 4 at 8 o'clock.